And that's why you never want to ride an SLC when it's not raining. Oh, hi! Welcome, everyone. This is the first ever Thanks for Riding Early Access News. I'm Brian.
I'm Andrew.
And we'll be your guides through discussion on the current news stories of the day. First up today, we have a really interesting story. A very futuristic story, perhaps. The Six Flags chain has announced virtual reality roller coasters. It's a thing. It's happening. And it's happening this year at Six Flags parks around the country.
At some of their parks, you will be able to experience a roller coaster like you never have before.
And probably didn't want to. Oh, I'm editorializing already. Sorry.
They're going to supply the riders with virtual reality headsets that will go over your eyes, and while the coaster's going, you'll be seeing something. It could be an alien invasion. It could be superheroes doing superhero stuff. I'm not really sure. But they're trying to enhance the roller coaster experience because what's there, I guess, just isn't enough.
I don't know if they're saying it's not enough. I guess it's gotten old, or they're kind of...
So it's not enough anymore.
I guess that's what they're saying. I mean, these are not... They're all being added to existing rides. It's a way to be able to remarket a ride that's been there for many years. So I get that. See, okay, so to me, this is the next evolution in... You had Batman Backwards, and now it's VR roller coasters. And this changes everything, as they'd like to have you believe. Who's getting this?
Revolution at Six Flags Magic Mountain. Shockwave at Six Flags Over Texas. Daredevil Dive at Six Flags Over Georgia. Ninja at Six Flags St. Louis. Steamin' Demon at The Great Escape. And Goliath at La Ronde. And Superman Krypton Coaster at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. And Superman the Ride at Six Flags New England. And Superman Ride of Steel at Six Flags America.
9 parks. They're going to do this 9 times.
Yeah, so who's not getting this? Great Adventure and Great America? Oh, and Discovery Kingdom?
And Discovery Kingdom.
Those are the only 3 that aren't getting it?
Wow, why hold back, guys?
Yeah, that's bizarre.
Why not just... That's bizarro, you might say.
Ah.
Why not just put it on every park somewhere?
You know what? I'm sure they wanted to, and then they started buying these VR headsets and they ran out of money.
At the last minute. Well, the whole thing is kind of rushed. I mean, they already made their 2016 announcements.
They did.
And we've gone through it on the show, as a matter of fact, as I'm sure countless other shows and blogs and things like that have gone through. And then they decided, you know, as the winter is winding down here this year, 2016, they just decided out of nowhere to just change everything, which is kind of weird. I mean, what does this say? I mean, they're announcing their new rides and they really don't have it ready yet. Are they just, they're so eager to want to make their new ride announcements and they do it so early? What was it? It was like August still? August, September, somewhere around there they made the announcements. And like it's like they're jumping the gun so much that they don't even have their own plans completely fleshed out. They're just like, they just kind of throw out what they think they're going to do, what they're leaning towards, but then maybe the contracts aren't signed or things aren't finalized, the whole budgets aren't actually made yet, and then they figure out later on, many months later, what they're really going to do. You know, it's like Great Adventure already changed something. I mean, it's not a huge change, but they're changing the color scheme and the name of the SNS ride that they're getting. It's going to be Joker now instead of Total Mayhem. But in the meantime, they announced this virtual reality concept out of nowhere when you weren't even expecting them to announce anything because they already did. So, what the hell? It's crazy. It's crazy. The announcement coming out of nowhere is weird. And then what they announced is really off the wall. It's just one of those things where I saw it and All I knew was, oh man, we've got to bring this to the show. So this is wacky. This is wacky as hell. I mean, they're partnering with Samsung on this.
Yeah, essentially what they're doing from what I've read is they're taking Samsung smartphones and they're putting it into a headset, and that's what you're going to be looking at.
So it's actually Samsung phones.
Right.
Galaxy? Those
Yeah,
Galaxy phones?
Galaxy phones or something, yeah.
So they have a partner in this. So that makes me feel like it's got a chance to actually work. Because it's not like Six Flags came up with this. They're just buying it from Samsung. And Samsung is a reputable company. I love Samsung TVs.
Sure.
Personally. I know they have good technology, solid stuff. So I feel that's good. I think they've been working on this virtual reality concept for a while. I don't think they were working on it just specifically for coasters. They were working for it in general. The idea of having this thing strapped to your face.
Right. This technology, I know, has been developing at least in the video game world.
For a long time.
Yeah.
Since the Virtual Boy.
Sure.
The very big failure that was for Nintendo. But yeah, for decades. Yeah, this is something that's been on the horizon. People have been trying to figure out how to make it work. It's like there's been a lot of early concepts of it, but it never has really quite made sense.
Yeah, they haven't found a way to make it work.
Or it works, but it's like it doesn't like add enough of a thrill or enough of anything to a video game or anything up to this point.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably a better way to put it.
So it's interesting that they're going to take a stab at roller coasters, as if that's going to make it work. This will make it make sense. This will make people say, oh my goodness, I finally realized what virtual reality is good for.
Well, I wonder who approached who on this.
Yeah, I do wonder that.
'Cause I'm really not sure.
We don't know right now. We can only speculate. So they're going to strap these they look really cumbersome in the pictures, really cumbersome things. They wrap it's not just your eyes. It covers like your brows and the top of your forehead, all the way down to your nose. Like there's a little notch so that your nose, so you can still breathe. Because it covers pretty much your entire nose, too.
Yeah.
Down to the bottom of your nose, your nostrils. So it's like it's a big headpiece, big headset. There's a lot to unpack here. I mean, first, I guess, thing is wow. It's like the future is now. Here we go. Here's something that, we may have thought was still another decade or more on the horizon, and here it is today, out of nowhere, as like a sub-edition, almost like an afterthought. Again, Six Flags already announced their new slate of stuff, and then they just, we're going to do this too, by the way. And it's like, wow, that's some kind of afterthought. It's a real, I mean, if it works, it'll be a real breakthrough in technology. I mean, if they figured it out, where it can actually track movements, by having, like, I guess it's going to have, like, an accelerometer and barometer and odometer, all have as many meters and myometers as you want, that it can actually track, like, where you are on the ride, and, like, if you're turning your head one way or the other, and, like, so that you'll see what you should see based on the direction that your head's turned. If it really works and it figured all that out, I mean, that is a technological breakthrough. That's huge.
I don't
if
know.
it can do that and keep up with some of these rides that they're going to be putting it on, which have top speeds of like 80 miles an hour, or upwards of that, whatever, 75, 80, like Superman rides have that, the two hyper ones. You're not going to even give them that much?
I don't know if I'm convinced that this is a breakthrough.
If it can follow, your head kind of thing, it's just...
But that's been around for a really long time.
I'm just, because I guess I'm blown away, because it's not just like you're standing and you're walking. It's like, it's a roller coaster.
I don't know how much that's going to factor in.
You're whipping through the air at like, upwards of 80 miles an hour.
But here's part of my concern. Damn. Well, first thought right out of the gate, I'm going to quote Zatstar here.
Oh, Zavatar.
Because he actually suggested that we talk about this. And,
one of our big fans.
He knows us very well. Yes, we had to touch on this. He says it seems like a disaster waiting to happen, and I couldn't agree more. I totally understand that you're going to be able to turn your head, and the thing will turn with you, and so you'll be able to see in the virtual world 360 degrees, I guess. But, I mean, in terms of that reacting with hills and turns and velocity changes, all that kind of thing, will it track that? I don't know. I don't know how much it's going to play into that part of it.
All right, yeah, you have reservations. I mean, that's what I'm saying. If it works, I said, if. It's a caveat. If this works 100%, it's a technological breakthrough. and they're rolling it out big. They're not just doing 1. They're doing 9 right off the bat. So I would, and this is a pretty easy thing to test. All you had to do is just try it. Strap a couple of these things on to people who have agreed to test this thing, or the actual higher ups in the company, whatever, is going to agree to buy this, and show them it works. And so I kind of feel like it must work on some level. Is this Six Flags we're talking about?
I don't know.
But at the same time, I couldn't believe that they wouldn't have at least tested it. I kind of have to believe that just as a human being, with like your senses being in order, you have to be able to understand if the virtual reality works on any level, or if it's a total disaster, or it doesn't track the movements right, or it actually is so not synced up with reality that it gets you sick.
Yeah,
I would think they would know that. That's the best I can give it.
Mm-hmm.
But again, until I try it myself, I don't know. And Six Flags has done a lot of stupid shit.
Yes, they
in
have.
their history. We've talked about a lot of it even on the show, just this recent years.
Well, I just want to touch on, you mentioned, the possibility that this will make you sick.
And that would be one of my, personally, like, if I were the executive and this was first pitched to me, that would be probably my number 1. Actually, my number 2. My number 1 would be cumbersome hardware flying off mid-ride.
Yeah.
That'd be my number 1. And I'm going to throw that out there. I mean, come on. How can they be sure that that's not going to happen? Because that is something they can't test. Because they're gonna ride just in their test groups, and of course they're all gonna keep it on, and they're not gonna fool around and whatever else. But in a real life situation, when you're trying to get as many riders through as quick as you can, and they're gonna be securing these things as fast as they can, I mean, can we really be assured that not any of these is ever gonna fly off mid-ride?
It's not just that, but what's gonna prevent someone from just taking it off in mid-ride?
And then there's that factor too.
How can they possibly guarantee that?
Look, I mean, it's not even anything against any people or crowds out there. Six Flags crowds can be a little rough. And I don't think that they're bad people. It's just the fundamental difference is when you go to Disney, you usually go with your family. So it's like your parents are there, someone else is there, or your older siblings, or you're with other people. Six Flags is that place. Whereas a lot of times where the parents just like drop the kids off, like they're teenagers.
Yeah.
And it's like the first place that teenagers get to explore on their own. And there's a lot of that goes on in those parks. And when you get teenagers together, it's just the fact, your brain's not fully developed yet until you're in your 20s. You're kind of stupid. You make dumb choices. You fool around a lot. And shit happens. And so you can't, in that environment, like in a Disney environment, I trust it more because you have a lot more guardians. It's a different environment. In Six Flags,
the rides are tamer too, generally speaking.
And the rides are tamer, yeah. In Six Flags, though, yeah, you have a lot of those teens out on their own for the first time. They're excited. You're trying to impress the guys, trying to impress the girls, and stuff like that going on. It's all big dynamic. So they're not necessarily bad people out there by their very nature, but it's just they're in that scenario where they might do silly things.
Yeah.
Or just downright stupid things that could put other people in danger. So when you have that, and now you have these headsets, that's a lot to play around with. And yeah, who's, not going to just take it off to show off to his friends or something. And then, it flies out of my hand. Oh, what the hell? And that's not good.
No.
And as a manager, I'd be concerned about that. Or as an executive, if I was on that board, I mean, what are they going to do? They got to padlock these things to your head? So only a key by an attendant when you get off can unlock it, take it off? I mean,
or even to the train, which again is dangerous because what if you take it off and it falls and then it's hitting against the rail on the side of the wheel or something? I mean, there's just so many things that could go wrong.
That worries me the most. Obviously, I'm not worried personally about they're expensive, I'm sure too. And what if they break? But I mean, that's Six Flags' problem. They should be worried about that though, internally too. Like how often these things going to break, how many spares should we keep?
Yeah. Well, I think I read that they're going to have something like 5 sets per seat.
Oh wow!
On every ride. That is a ton.
So they bought a lot.
Yes, they did.
To kick this out, to roll this out. Wow. All right. So they're expecting that. But still, I mean, that's my number one concern. Then my second concern.
Before you move on, that by itself is why I think this is a terrible idea, and they're kind of asking for trouble with this.
Like, even if it works 100% and everything, it's just a bad idea because of the dangers.
Just because of that, yeah. That alone is very, very concerning.
And before we close this particular point, let's just make a quick comparison. You have Six Flags, which now, going into 2016, is going to be giving their roller coaster riders cell phones to strap to the front of their face. You're handing them more than a cell phone, because it's a cell phone with other shit. I think there's like going to be meters and stuff that's how it's going to interact with your movement.
Okay.
And it's this big cumbersome headset thing that they're giving to you. Whereas you have Universal Studios and their parks in general, in Florida at least, Universal and Islands of Adventure, which I've installed just this past year, metal detectors to make sure you're not carrying not only phones but anything, even pocket change, with you.
Yeah.
So look at that. I mean, what an incongruity right there. You have Six Flags giving the riders more things, because they have their cell phone in their pocket already, and change and whatever else, keys, and then you're giving you an additional thing to put on your head, where it's even closer to falling out or flying off. The other stuff is at least in your cargo pockets, but now they're giving you this to put at the top of your head. Where other companies are like, going through the hassle of banning things and putting in detectors. So it's like, wow. What a strange time for the industry.
Yeah.
And it's funny, Universal is also going through the trouble of rebuilding the Hulk. Would this have just been like a way to spruce it up? This is something you might have thought they would do first. Islands of Adventure was on the cutting edge of everything when it first opened.
But I don't see this as being cutting edge. I see this as a stupid gimmick. I'm really not buying this.
Again, I still say if it works, it's still kind of cutting edge.
I just really don't think so. No,
we agree to disagree. We agree to disagree on that one. Well, hey, that's a good. We don't disagree much on the show. We'd love to see comments just on that alone. Now, let us know. Get into the debate, guys. Come on.
Well, one thing that I think partly doesn't make it cutting edge is that apparently there's not even going to be audio. It's just visual, which I don't understand how you could have one and not the other, and have it be immersive.
Okay, I see what you're saying. All right, so it's not going to wrap around your ears.
Apparently not
at all. So you're just hearing the wind and the screams like you normally would. That's a downgrade.
Yeah, so you're going to see Superman flying all around wherever the hell, but it's like you can't hear anything.
Okay.
So that's a little weird. All right, and then what about getting sick?
All right, so that's all right. So now the second concern, my second biggest concern, is getting sick.
I mean, Six Flags is, of course they're saying no, it's you'll be fine. They understand that that's a major concern, and they've addressed it. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And they say, no, it works much better than you think it will. Something like that. Some wording to that effect.
So that they knew.
Yeah.
People would think of.
But while it may work better than I think in terms of not making you sick, I still have a hard time believing that it's going to be the same as riding it without this headset. I think the chances of getting sick are going to be significantly increased no matter what. Because you're covering your eyes. I understand the motion is supposed to sync up with the movement that you're physically feeling on the ride, but it's still going to be really strange.
Well, it's
and then what if there's like a glitch in your headset while you're riding?
Well, that's the thing, yeah.
And something gets out of sync for a moment, and that's really going to fuck with you, and that's a big risk to take.
It might be strange anyway, at least until you get used to it. But no one's going to suggest that this is going to become the new normal, and it shouldn't. It's ridiculous. But yes, the thing to really be worried about is when these things do screw up, whether it's a glitch or whether it's just a sudden, it freezes up for a second, then it comes back, but then now it's out of sync. Because now it's going to be the couple seconds that it lost, and when it was frozen, now it's behind a couple seconds.
Yeah. Well, remember,
and that's going to make all the difference.
Right. Remember on when they added the audio to Superman, the ride at New England.
Mm-hmm.
The audio kept cutting out during the ride.
It still does, yeah.
Yeah.
They still have it and try to use it.
So it's not even like that works consistently.
Yeah, because the ride is really fast and it's even a little rough because it's gotten older and it rattles a little bit now.
Although, now that I'm thinking about this, now that I just mentioned the onboard audio, I wonder if they're going to use that for audio.
Yeah, I thought of that when you were saying it before, but that's one ride.
Yeah.
The other 8 don't have audio.
Yeah.
So
all right.
That doesn't really matter.
Okay.
They could use it on that one, but that's only one.
Yeah. All right.
What about the other 8? They're still going to run it then with no audio on most of them. Either way. Yeah, and so that's a good example. I mean, or a good point. I mean, the audio not even staying on every ride every time. So yeah, what makes you think these headsets won't kind of error out or whatever it is with some of the extreme speeds and the extreme Gs? It could be less likely though. I mean, you think about it, most people do carry their phones in their pockets and they don't not work when you get it back. So I feel for whatever reason, I guess cell phone technology is more durable. Whatever they're using for those giant audio boxes where they have to take an entire row of seats out. I guess it's like old school stuff or whatever. It's just like it's transistors or something. I don't know. Tubes and transistors. And it does tend to not fare that well against the G-forces on some of these rides and the speeds, the rattling, the vibration. So it may have a better chance against that, but it still is a concern. I mean, there's no way that they're going to work flawlessly 100% of the time. Nothing like this ever does. And so even if it's just one rider an hour or one rider every couple hours, it's like someone's going to have their headset blank out or freeze or something, and they may puke because of it.
But even if it works perfectly, I believe that this will significantly increase the chances of people getting nauseous on the ride. I don't care what Six Flags says. I'm not saying people are guaranteed to get sick, and even if you never get sick before, I'm just saying it'll increase those chances significantly.
I mean, I can see that just because you're not seeing what you're feeling, what you should be seeing. Yeah, either way, you're seeing something virtual. And
it's not a fake out. It's not like a simulator.
Yeah, you're actually moving.
You're actually moving through that space.
Yeah, I mean, essentially that's what this is. It's for the.
It's like simulator in reverse.
It's like almost. It's like you're gonna get like a simulator movie, but you're really on the track and you're really dropping and flying through the air. Oh boy. All right. So those are our big concerns. So I guess the sum total here at Early Access News is we're just a couple old crotchety old men here. And
yeah, kind of.
We're pretty much Circus of Improvement guy. We're just, it'll never work.
Right.
It's pretty much what we're doing. Sorry, carousel progress. We sometimes call it Circus of Improvement here.
I mean, is this something you really need to do? No, it's not something you really need to do.
You absolutely don't need to do it. Absolutely.
I mean, personally, I don't even really find it to be that interesting. It seems just incredibly silly to me.
For me, it's interesting enough that I definitely want to try it.
Yeah, well, we're gonna try it. We'll do it, and we'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, there'll definitely be a second part of this, which will be a review. I get why they're doing it. It's no secret. Again, I mentioned the Batman backwards earlier.
No, yeah, I understand why they're doing it. Sure,
they find ways to be able to refresh or repackage their existing rides. I'm actually a little surprised that they're already jumping to this. It seems like they could have done some more backwards things first. It may cost a lot to buy all these headsets, 5 per seat, on 9 different roller coasters around the country, but it still costs a hell of a lot less than it would have to buy 9 roller coasters.
Oh yeah.
Even smaller, even if 5 of those were smaller ones and only 4 were full size, but still it would have cost a lot more money. Again, it makes me sound like an old man, but I'm like already predicting I'm not really going to appreciate it that much, and that it's not something that I'm going to want to see more of. Like, if only these 9 rides get it and only for a limited time, I'll be pretty happy. I don't really want to see this become a thing. And that's not having even tried it, but it's just because the experience of a roller coaster is just kind of it's great.
It's fine by itself. You don't need to add the headset.
It's an incredible thing. Yeah, virtual reality is for when you're in your house and it's the middle of winter and you can't get out, and maybe if there's a way you can experience something that you couldn't. Doing the actual ride that's the thrill.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why you don't really need this. It's like they're trying to turn the coaster into a dark ride, and it's like, just build a dark ride.
Yeah, or build a dark ride coaster. Those exist too.
Or sure, yeah. But this like weird in between thing is I don't know. Yeah. I'm with Zestar. I think it's a disaster waiting to happen.
Oh, all right.
Because there's just too many things that can go wrong.
It does raise a lot of concerns, a lot of questions. Yeah, what could possibly go wrong?
And then like Six Flags is handling this on top of all of this. I mean, forget it.
And it's the one company that you can't trust to manage anything. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, I wonder, is it going to be optional?
It is optional.
Oh, it says it. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think they had to do that.
And it's free, by the way, too. It's not upcharge.
Oh yeah,
they really want people to experience this.
Yeah, you almost would have thought it would have been. It's kind of funny. I mean, you had like disaster transport. Was one in particular that I remember that you had an option of putting 3D glasses on.
Yeah, they did that for...
That was a gimmick in like the last few years, like the last 5 years or so in its existence. They kind of did that. They just painted some shit on the walls that wasn't even 3D. It's just like some blacklight paintings, and they claimed it was 3D if you put the glasses on. And they actually charged for those, though. It was like, what, $1 or $2 or something?
It was a couple of bucks, yeah.
It was $2 to buy in the queue. So that's a really primitive form of this, what we're seeing now in Six Flags, and they actually charged for it. And now Six Flags, yeah, you'd think this would have been an easy way to generate some more revenue, too.
Well, maybe they figured nobody would do it. I don't know.
You know, or if they just believe in it so much that...
You know, it's like first taste is free kind of thing. Maybe if it's a hit, then the next season they'll charge.
The next year it'll be available on every roller coaster in the park, but you got to pay for it.
Yeah.
Like a Flash Pass. You buy it, you get it at the gate, and you carry this thing around with you all day, and you
just put it on every coaster.
Yeah, you put it on, and you push, like there'll be a menu or something, and you push which coaster you're on, and then it'll just sync up. And
you know, this is like, I don't know, it's almost like if they do that, it's like for people who don't really like coasters then. Because then what the hell are you doing?
Well, no, you still got to ride it, though. You still have to really experience it.
No, but it's like you're not really experiencing the coaster. It's like you want to escape from it. It's like Cyberspace Mountain or some shit. It's like you really just want to be in a pod looking at a screen.
And not feeling the full brunt of all the G-forces.
It's like, yeah, you want some movement, but you don't want the whole thing.
You don't want to feel the wind in your face. And all that. Yeah, I guess. It's silly. It's very interesting. It's going to be an interesting experiment.
Some of these rides, you know, they have lap bars. Some of these rides have over-the-shoulders. I mean, is the headset going to bang against the over-the-shoulder and you're going to, you know, injure your eye?
Yeah.
There's so many problems with this.
It's a heavy X factor here. I'm surprised they're not doing it on X. Imagine.
Like that ride needs enhancement.
So yeah, what about the choice of rides? The Supermans, the New England one and the American one. So they're gonna give doing it on hypers, couple hypers.
They're doing all sorts of rides.
I know there's no rhyme or reason, right?
No.
Some have inversions, some don't. Some are faster, some are smaller, slower. You know, it's a mixed bag. Those two, if you're gonna do this, I guess a hyper makes more sense in my mind because you don't have a headbanging possibility. You're more free and open anyway, and the ride does less in terms of like changes in motion. You're just kind of out and back. You know, with a couple of little other, you know, turn drops or whatever, or a helix here or there. So those two make more sense to me. What else they got?
All the other ones are like loopers. They'll have inversions.
All the ones have inversions. Okay.
Superman Krypton coaster.
Okay, so you got your full size B&M.
Yeah.
Floorless, really intense, really awesome. Doesn't need this.
No.
Whatsoever.
Ninja at Six Flags St. Louis.
Okay, and
Kinda
now
rough, but
that one. All right, so I would throw that one.
Steam and Demon at Great Escape.
Even more so, Steam and Demon, as far as like those you're asking for trouble because those you definitely might bang your head.
Yeah.
Steam and Demon. I mean, come on. Those corkscrews. Those might be the two roughest Arrow corkscrews that I've ever ridden.
I think so. Yeah.
And I'm Mr. Arrow. I love Arrow.
For some reason, those.
But those
went awry. I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
there.
or it's like mid corkscrew, like your head jerks over or something. It's
yeah,
like,
usually Arrow's corkscrews are smooth as glass.
Once you're in
great, they're perfect. Yeah. But for some reason, the Steam and Demon ones are just awful.
They just jerk. You get jerked around the entire way throughout the two corkscrews. So like that's a recipe for disaster.
Daredevil Dive at Six Flags Over Georgia. I could see that being a problem because that's a tiny little compact coaster. There's a lot of changes going on.
And that's odd. That's a new one. That might be the newest one on this list, right? That's only, what, like 5-6 years old?
Yeah, that is the newest one, yeah.
So that's like, does that really even need enhancement so soon?
I guess it's not popular. I don't know.
I guess no one's riding it? Well, it's a dumb little compact thing. It doesn't belong in a major park with like the Six Flags brand on it. Really doesn't.
Shockwave at Over Texas. That one is a little different because that's lap bar, but it has inversions.
That's the Schwarzkopf. That's a great ride.
Oh, it is. Yeah. Does not need enhancement.
It doesn't, but that one again, I can see if you're going to do a ride with inversions, at least do that because it's not so. It's just a couple loops.
Yeah.
And the rest is all drops and turns, and it is old. Mm-hmm. I mean, the ride itself is what from late 70s, so it's like I get why you'd want to pump up the ridership on that. Maybe it's been around for so many years, and then I know Revolution, the other Schwarzkopf that's getting it. Everything I just said about Shockwave goes for Revolution as well, except for the fact that, and it was part of the original announcements, they were enhancing it this year anyway. They were putting lap bars back. and building or rebuilding the train, either rebuilding the trains or getting all new. That wasn't decided yet, and I'm not sure what they're doing, but something like that. It's going to be a newly refreshed train design, and it's going to be comfortable supposedly, and they're just repainting it, rehabbing it, and it's going to ride, as close as it did to opening day supposedly. And it's like, in that case, isn't that enough?
Of course.
Can we not get at least one season with just that before you throw virtual reality helmets on us?
Yeah.
It just doesn't need it. I mean, because it's almost contradictory to what they were doing. The whole point, I thought, was it's a return to its roots for that ride. It's already like the first modern vertical loop. It's already a milestone ride. And the idea, I thought, was this year to celebrate it and bring it back to its glory and make it like it was opening day. But now you're going to add a virtual reality aspect. Couldn't be further from opening day.
Right.
They couldn't, and they didn't even know what a smartphone was in 76 when it opened. So that's odd.
That doesn't make any sense.
And what else do we got?
Goliath at Laron, but that falls in with the Supermans at America.
Okay, the Hyper. That could just be an M1, but okay. Or whatever. Is that even, was that?
No, it's actually
a little less than
under
Hyper?
200.
I realized when I said that. But airtime machine. So a mixed bag. And it almost makes it sort of the beginning of where you start thinking that Six Flags doesn't know what they're doing.
No.
Because even just the fact that they couldn't come up with one ride throughout the chain that would get this treatment, but instead it's just this, let's just throw it on as many things as we think we can.
Right.
And see what works.
I mean, supposedly the what you're going to see is tailored to each ride. To a certain extent.
I don't think it's 9, but there's like 2 or 3. I
think,
and each park will get one of the 3, or depending on what it is. I know the Supermans have a specific Superman thing.
Yeah, but like the length is supposed to be adjusted to the ride. But it's still kind of weird because some of these are really kind of short. Like Steam and Demon is a very short ride, and Daredevil Dive also another short ride.
It only has one train, I believe.
Steam and Demon, I think so. So it's like, I mean, what the hell are you going to see? It's going to be over in a second.
On that
it's
one?
like aliens invade. Oh wait, no, that's fine. It's like I don't get what's going to happen.
There's not going to be enough time for like a build up, an adventure part, and then a nice conclusion. It's just going to be experience will vary wildly based on that too.
I will be. I know we haven't done it yet. I'm condemning it even before I've done it. We both are.
But
I have a hard time seeing this lasting beyond the 2016 season.
Oh, you think they'll have so many broken Samsung headsets that
Well, just that, and it's like I can't see the guest reaction being that positive. I can't see a lot of people coming off this thing being blown away by it.
It's a wacky idea.
Because it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be too much to ask of people. Honestly,
it's almost like an idea that only Six Flags could do. And
oh, definitely, Cedar Fair would never do this.
No,
and they would be the only other even remotely close ones to coming up with an idea like this. But yeah, this is Six Flags all the way. Just dumb Six Flags bullshit.
Yeah, this is very it's very John Hammond. Very they're so worried about whether they could, they never stop to think if they should.
Right.
And should we do this? I don't know. I mean, I can't speak for all these rides across the chains, but or across this chain of Six Flags, but like Superman at New England still pulls. Even when they're running on both trains, it still pulls like a 45-minute wait pretty much any day.
Yes, that is a really pain in the ass wait.
And sometimes upwards of an hour.
I don't think I've ever waited. I think the shortest I've ever waited is like...
Maybe like 20.
Maybe 20 minutes
like 20
is the shortest I've ever waited for that ride.
That's if you get lucky. But like, it's usually a half hour or more.
Yeah,
still,
easily.
Always. So what is this going to do to loading times?
Oh, they're going to go through the roof.
Because now you have to strap this headset onto every individual on the train.
That's right.
Before every dispatch. Maybe a few people, raise their hand or whatever the signal is going to be that you don't want it. But the majority are going to want it, of course. I mean, you might as well, right?
Yeah.
So that's gonna it's gonna take what, 5 full minutes to get one train out?
It's gonna take forever.
Something astronomical.
I mean, they have to. The previous train has to take off their headsets. They have to collect them. They have to clean them, and then they have to put them on the new riders that come on the train.
All right. Well, you said,
and make sure they're all fit.
You said 5 per seat, so theoretically the ones coming off are not going to be the ones going on immediately. There'll probably be a cleaning crew or something. Or
I don't trust Six Flags. They're going to have the same number of people. They're going to have to find out how to do all of this.
All right, they got to clean them, but maybe
themselves.
not the same sets that are going on, but still.
But they're going to let it go. They take one off and they just grab the next one. It's like, when do you have time to clean them? They're not going to have a dedicated cleaning person. I have a hard time seeing them adding any extra crew.
All right. I mean, personally, I wouldn't be. I mean, it's head grease, whatever. I wouldn't really worry about that too much. But.
Yeah, I mean, they do address, you know, the cleanliness and the health concern of this. I'm not so worried about that.
Yeah, I mean, neither one of us are germaphobes or anything.
Yeah.
So that doesn't bother me too much. But it's going to take a long time to get everybody to get it off.
Right.
Make sure nobody steals it or whatever.
Yeah.
You have to be a quick count or something, and then start distributing them to the next train. It's gonna significantly slow down the load times.
Yeah, and then like we were saying, you know, what if the thing isn't charged up, and it's, you know, the guy puts it on and it's not working,
or some kind of low battery signal or something.
Yeah, or it's just glitching out, and then you're gonna have to take time to either swap that one out or try and fix it. It's gonna take forever to get these trains out.
Yeah, and it's not even like a quick thing, or I don't even know, can they just trust the people to put it on themselves? Because again, if it's not secure, that's a liability for the park.
Yeah.
So there's going to have to be, just as much as they're adjusting your seatbelt and your lap bar, and they have to also adjust a strap or something on the back of each thing to make sure it's snug.
Yeah.
How much time is that going to take? A lot, I would think.
It will take a lot.
So that's going to really suck.
Everything is bad about this. Whatever the experience is, I really, really doubt it's going to be worth it.
It has to be like really, really good.
It's got to be like better than Spider-Man or something. It's got to be mind-blowing.
It's got to be.
It really has to be.
I have to get blown on this ride. Forget blown away. I have to come off having blown a load. And then maybe this will approach being worth the hassle.
Sure.
If they can do that, now they got something. But yeah, short of that, I don't know. It's going to be a fun experiment once. Wow, a lot of issues here. Well, hey, virtual reality coasters are happening. It's a thing. I mean, and this is one of those ones where I do want to be open-minded enough, or at least I don't want to rain on everyone's parade. If you are excited about this, I kind of get it, and I think you do have a reason to be. But at the same time, I hope you listen to this, and maybe we gave you some things you didn't think about on your own, and maybe you'd be like, oh, this guy's making good points, and okay, it's not just this cool, you know, possibly cutting-edge thing. There's a downside to it, and this happens to be a pretty heavy downside, I think, unfortunately.
Coaster's fine by itself.
You know, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, in the end, it's like, just put a Justice League or similar ride in every one of your parks, guys.
Yeah.
Just build 9 of those over the next 3 years or something. 3 a year for the next 3 years. I don't know. All right, so virtual reality coaster, Six Flags. I kind of can't wait to try it, though, and be able to report back on this. All right, as this is our new extension of our show, thanks for writing early access news, we will have to pause 10 seconds for station ID.
WTFR, your home for over-analysis. And now, reporting live from Universal Studios Hollywood, Dickward Ride has the scoop on what's making people sick at the newly opened Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
I hear people are getting sick of Harry Potter. It's about time. I've been sick of Potter for years. First it was 7 books, then 10 movies, and now 3 lands, 1 in each of Universal Orlando's parks, and this one in Hollywood. It's too much Potter, and I'm sick of it. Those kid actors have grown up to be sluts and whores. And what's with that Snape guy? The actor that played Snape doesn't come around to cast events, or even answer calls anymore, from what I hear. What an ingrate. Look at that guy. He's such a wiener. He should be thankful he got that role. It's not like he'd ever be cast as an international gentleman criminal mastermind, or an old-world British villain or anything. That would never work. He didn't even show up to the Oscars when they honored him this year. Anyway, I think it's about time everyone has gotten sick of Harry Potter. And I'm sure Universal is putting plans into motion to tear out both Florida Potterlands and rebuild the Lost Continent and Amity. They'll keep the train and rename it the LC and Amity Express. I can't wait. Oh, and I also can't wait for the polar coaster to open on iDrive. Okay, that's enough. Thank you, Dickword. God, biggest dick you ever met.
What a dick. Yeah, so apparently people are getting sick on the newly opened Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey at Universal Studios Hollywood.
Okay, so this is something new with this Hollywood version.
Yeah, apparently it's the same exact ride as the Orlando one at Islands of Adventure. It's just that the Hollywood one is in 3D.
3D?
The screen portions are in 3D.
So you get 3D glasses?
Yeah, I would have to assume so.
What's the excuse?
What's the excuse?
Every one of these rides, come on, we have the best one still, I think. The most absurd one, opera glasses.
Oh, opera glasses.
That still hasn't been topped, I don't think.
I like opera glasses, yeah.
Good. A lot of safety goggles out there.
Yeah.
Maybe a night vision, one or two of those, but opera glasses takes the cake. But
well, with the magic thing, you could say anything. Oh, it's so you can see the magic or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, because we're muggles,
right?
We're dumb muggles, so we need glasses to see everything that's going on.
Duggles. Yeah, I don't know. Is this really even like a story?
I guess the 3D is throwing people off. I guess I don't know. Either that, or they just didn't program the Hollywood version right.
Perhaps, yeah. Well, I read something really interesting about Spider-Man recently.
Uh-oh.
The 3D in that, at least with Spider-Man, and I would have to assume Transformers as well, in order to make that 3D work, normally with 3D, you need to sit or stand still. You need to be still and just look directly at the screen. But with Spider-Man, you're moving constantly by the screen, around the screen. And so they needed to constantly adjust the 3D technology in the screen so that it synced with your movement around the screen. So supposedly, if you were to just look at that screen in Spider-Man, either, I'm not sure with or without the 3D glasses, but if you were just to stand still and watch that screen, it's constantly changing because it constantly needs to adjust to the movement.
Okay.
So I don't know if this is part of that, where they didn't program that correctly, like you were saying. They didn't get that quite right.
The angle of the 3D.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or if, for whatever reason, it just doesn't work. Well, I know the screen on Forbidden Journey is really close to you. You're like engulfed in it. I don't know if that has something to do with it. As opposed to Spider-Man or Transformers, where it's one giant screen, like a movie theater. Harry Potter's different. It's more like a, what is that called? Like,
what, like a mini...
It's like indented in...
IMAX dome? Oh, concave?
Where it's like that shape and you're kind of like in it, almost.
You're in one.
I don't know if that has something to do with it.
Yeah, it's possible. We can only speculate, but I guess the bottom line is people are throwing up, right? Is that...
Yeah,
are they throwing up mid-ride or did they get off?
I'm not sure, but...
Does anybody know? In each other's faces? Are they projectile vomiting on each other? On the screens? On those stupid flying hooded things?
I'm assuming it's the 3D, because that's the only thing that's different, and nobody was complaining about that with the Orlando version. So
no, maybe it's just the fact that it's Harry Potter and it's already 2016 and people are just like, oh my god, I like this like 5-6 years ago. What the fuck was I thinking? And like 10 years ago I loved this and I had like it all plastered all over my room. What was I thinking? And they're just like throwing up on themselves because they're just so embarrassed that they like
could be that
wasted like their whole youth.
In fact, I'm convinced it's that now.
Yeah, I see, right? I think it's what it is. It's like you're just realizing now, like, oh my god, this is god awful.
So, I don't know, that's that story. I don't really know what else there is to say about it.
Yeah, it's, people are throwing up. I mean, what are you gonna do? Universal just screwed something up. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. I'm sure they'll fix it. Or they'll just add barf bags.
Yeah.
To your flying bench.
And now, we'll pause 10 seconds for Station ID.
WTFR. If you didn't hear it here, you didn't hear it here. This next segment is brought to you by Aerodynamics of Clearfield, Utah. From the grave. Remember how much you loved us, enjoyed our rides, marveled at our innovation, Do you know how influential we really were in laying the foundation for the entire modern amusement industry? We didn't think so. How easily we've been forgotten and constantly crapped on for some rough but interesting transitions. How quickly our rides, created from the blood, sweat, and tears of countless devoted individuals who love the amusement industry, have been removed and scrapped from parks around the world. We here at Aerodynamics would like to reach out from the grave and say, fuck you! Ron Toomer would like to add, if you ever touch Gemini at Cedar Point, I will personally return and rip the heart out of the chests of every individual responsible. And go fuck yourself, Busch Gardens. Thank you. And we're back, and we have a story about Disney and their outrageous prices.
So Disney and Universal have implemented seasonal-based pricing. So when it's the busy summer, you're going to pay more for a park ticket than when it's not so busy, which is, I really don't know when anymore. Seems like there really isn't an off-season, at least in Florida.
January, September, maybe.
Okay. Universal was actually the first one to do this, and then Disney actually followed them, which is unusual.
Ah, that never happens.
Yeah.
As the first part of this, are you telling me that they've raised, at least for what they're going to consider the premium, the busiest part of the seasons?
Yes.
From what it was?
Yes, they are.
So, by introducing this, it's almost, at first thought, you may think this is like, oh, okay, I'll get a break if I go during a less desirable time of the year. But, and maybe you will, we'll get to that, I guess, but to start with, you're getting higher per day rates during the busy seasons. And that's what you're telling me.
Yes.
So this is in place of their usual price increase for this year. Instead,
yeah, I guess so.
I mean, it is a price increase, but it's rolled out with more than that.
Right, yeah.
Just trying to get a handle on this.
So Disney World. So on a peak day, one park, one day, the price of admission is for, I think, for Epcot, Studios, and Animal Kingdom, $114.
For one day.
Right. Magic Kingdom, $124.
Holy shit. And that's up from, wasn't it just barely over a one? It was like 104.
It was like 104.5, yeah, something like that.
It's going up another $20
on peak days, yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay, next step down from that.
Words can't describe that.
Because there are 3 levels here: peak, regular, and value. So that was peak. On regular,
oh god, no.
102 for Epcot, Studios, Kingdom, and 110 for Magic Kingdom.
So even regular is still, I think, more than what it was before this.
It was, well, no, the price for Epcot, Studios, and Animal Kingdom, I think, was about the same. But Magic Kingdom went up, like, anyway.
A couple bucks, I think, at least, yeah.
And then the value day, the day where it's supposed to be dead.
Coupon day.
Yeah. $97 for
oh god!
Epcot Studios.
Tear my heart out!
And then $105 for Magic Kingdom.
Oh.
Now, if you want a Hopper,
Oh.
Hopper's outrageous. Hopper on a peak day is $164.
Oh, God! Right through my heart.
Disneyland isn't much better. Peak day is $119, regular day $105, and value day is $95.
Holy shit.
So I guess no price difference there for Disneyland or California Adventure.
Oh, wow.
And it's $169 on a peak day for a park hopper at the Disneyland Resort.
One day?
Yeah. 1 day park hopper.
And what's like a multiple day?
I don't know. I don't even want to look at it.
Yeah. What's a multiple day? We're not doing. I don't know. We're not going. That's
Your firstborn.
that doesn't matter because we're
A kidney. I mean,
we're never doing it.
yeah.
Oh come on! Don't give me that shit. $124.
So what do you think about that? What do you think about having different prices for different times of the year?
That, in theory, is fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with that. If you are a year-round park, I think that's fine. I think it's about time that they would do that, actually.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. It's no different than what goes on in plenty of industries out there.
Well, the hotel industry has been doing that since the beginning.
An industry that, yes, I know very well. I work in it, and yeah, it's exactly, it's predicated on that. It's supply and demand.
Right.
High demand times, the rates go up. If there's less demand, the rates go down. It's simple. So I think that's great, but I would say it's too little too late. It's beyond that. It's just the fact that they're not really doing it. They're disguising it. They're just using this idea that they're sort of, quote unquote, air quotes I'm doing, you can't see me right now, but sorry, it sounded like Cena for a second. You can't see me. Fuck you. You're missing WrestleMania, douchebag. Sorry. But I'm doing the air quotes. And it's under the guise that this is some new, that we're finally instituting this supply and demand pricing. But it's really just an excuse for them to get over whatever, it's anywhere between a $15 to $20 increase, at least for Magic Kingdom in Florida, in one shot. Because if they just did that straight up, the way they've been doing it every year, it would be, I guess, more shocking than usual.
Yeah, whenever they increase the price, whenever Disney increases their ticket price, there's always some articles about it. It always makes the rounds in the news.
Yeah, like the real news.
At least lately, in the last couple of years, it has.
Beyond just industry news and,
yeah.
Park websites and stuff and, little shits like us. Even like the big shits and real news, yes. But so for them to do that much of a jump, it's like, they're just kind of disguising it. I'm sure they're going to rate like a majority of the year as this busy, what do they call peak? As peak. Probably at least half the year is going to be rated at that. At least the whole summer, which is when most people were going anyway. Summer, Christmas vacation week, when the schools are out.
Yeah, that's always huge.
That February
Christmas,
vacation
New Year's,
week.
yeah.
And the Easter vacation week, which varies between, spring vacation, I should say, which varies between March and April from year to year, depending on when Easter and Passover and whatever else is out there falls. It's really just an incredible jump in pricing.
Right.
To an astronomical level.
Right. This is not going to entice people, I don't think anyway, to go when their ticket prices are below $100.
But it's barely below. It's not a big difference.
And yeah, right.
It's not like any significant savings. It's only, what, like $20 difference or something?
Yeah. It's like you're shelling out a ton of money no matter what.
Or I guess 30 or whatever.
You can't get around it.
Between 20 and 30, $25 savings at some point in the year. But it's going to be an undesirable time. There's a reason why those are not the peak times, because it's harder for people to get off from work, or the weather sucks when you do get there, or whatever.
Yeah.
Or,
a lot of, with Disney, and I mean any park, but especially Disney because they're open year round, but they do a lot of their rehabs during those non-peak times.
Oh yeah, so
you're not even going to get the full lineup of rides.
You're guaranteed at least one, usually 2 or 3 though, of the major attractions will be down.
Yeah. So you're actually getting less for your money.
Well, yeah, when you paid the full price. So it's about time that it is a little bit off.
Yeah.
It should always have been this way, But it's ridiculous now the way they're doing it, because they're jacking the price up for the peak, and then it's like the other tiers are just now like what it was already anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like not even a savings. It's like pretty much what it was, at least the regular. Yeah. And then the value is maybe like $2 or a few $3 less.
Yeah, and we've said this before. Disney doesn't really add a lot of new stuff either.
Yeah.
At least attractions, like big attractions. I'm not talking about a parade or swapping out maybe a show or something.
Or a new face character. Yeah.
Yeah, a new meet and greet or some bullshit like that.
Or a new bathroom.
Yeah, it's like until the new Star Wars land comes online, I mean, they're not really giving you anything new.
Well, that's just the thing, yeah. And they're doing this, and this huge increase up to $124 for one day at Magic Kingdom. They're doing it in 2016, a year when they're not actually adding anything to the park.
Mm-hmm.
Which is incredible.
And then guaranteed, the year Star Wars Land opens, whatever that's going to be, 2020 or something, ticket price is going to jump like $50 or something.
For that park,
on top of the usual price increase they do every year anyway.
For studios?
Yeah. No, I think, across the board. It doesn't matter.
Oh.
All their parks.
Because if you're in Magic Kingdom, you're close to that park. All they've done is make announcements of, vague promises for the future.
Yeah.
Which is really all they are. It's just that we're going to do this eventually, one day. And they're not even giving you hard facts. That, this is what we're going to do. And these are the attractions you're going to get. It's just little vague, like, we're going to do a Star Wars thing, and it's going to have some of this stuff. Here's some artwork of what it might look like, but we're not really sure. Here you go. And they're just raising prices. If they really need this much additional revenue every year because they're in some kind of hole, which I can't imagine they are. I mean, it's the Disney company we're talking about. They own about 1/3 of the world, so I can't imagine they're hurting up for money at all. But if they are, or if you're going to use the argument that, you know, well, there's Star Wars, they're going to do Star Wars, they're working on Avatar and Toy Story Land, and they're doing all that in the next 5 to 10 years, and they're going to do it to such detail that it just costs that much money, and they need it. Then that's just something's not adding up with what they're doing. If it does cost that much money, or it puts them in the red where they have to keep jacking these prices up $20 a year now to get this Star Wars Land built, then, you know, maybe there's some mistake in there somewhere. Maybe do it a little less, guys, so that you can keep the place so that people can still afford to go there.
But do they want that?
Because it gets to a point where, you know, most people aren't going to be able to even go anyway. And then what the hell are you doing?
But I really have to question do they want people to go to their parks? Like a lot of people? Like, no, let me rephrase that.
What do you think? They just want like 3 billionaire families a day to visit, and that's it?
I don't,
make all their money off them?
That's the way it seems to me.
And charge $10,000 a ticket, and that's what it's going to be?
They're pricing so many people out. They're pricing us out. I mean...
Yeah.
We can't really go.
No.
Can't afford that shit.
Or it's like, we could, but we'd have to sacrifice so much else.
Right.
You have to sacrifice like a lot of entertainment the rest of for a whole year and just save up for this one Disney vacation.
Yeah. And to me, that's not worth it.
And we're not going to do that. A couple of fucks like us.
I just want to say about that argument that, you know, but you're getting the Disney experience. It's a premium experience. I think that's a lot of shit. The experience is cool. What they do very well. But they don't need to jack up the price $20 every year.
Well, it's just, I think it's a if you want to look at, you know, what you're paying for a ticket to, well, let's leave Six Flags out of it. Neither one of us are huge fans of Six Flags these days, but like, let's say Cedar Fair, and what you're paying for a day at a Cedar Fair park, even like the best ones like Cedar Point and Kings Island, and what you're getting, and then we're not going to actually do the math right now, but, you know, if you look at like what the percentage more that it's going to cost you to go to Disney, you know, versus that, and then think about, am I getting that much more of that percentage in an experience? Like, is my experience, if it's costing me, you know, whatever, 50% more, it's 124, what does it cost to go to, you know, Cedar Point for a day? Even if you take like the raw at the gate price, which is like the highest you could possibly pay.
Yeah.
I think it's like 60, 65.
Yeah, it's about half the price of.
So it's like it's about 100% more to go to a day at Magic Kingdom than it is to go to a day at Cedar Point, and it's really more because we know Cedar Point at any regional park, there's a ton of ways to get discounts. They do coupons a lot. You get a discount for buying your ticket in advance online, stuff like that. So really, it's even more. It's probably like you're paying like 115 or 120% more. Now
at Disney,
I have to go to a day at Disney.
Yeah.
So that's getting ridiculous now, the inequality. I mean, I understand that there's certain elements to a day at Disney that could be considered premium. Things that you're going to be able to do there that you're not going to be able to do at Cedar Point. But it's way beyond what it should be, though.
Oh, definitely.
You know, it should be like, you know, 30% more or something. You know, 50% more tops. You know, 115% more. Just we'll stick with the 100%, the worst case scenario. 100% more. You're not getting 100% more fun. I'll tell you that. Or 100%. It's not that much better.
You're doubling the amount of fun.
Yeah, it's not like twice as good.
Right. No, it's not.
Don't tell me that. And that just goes almost for anything. Even if you're a family with kids, even if, I mean, it's just not that much better. And if you think it is, you're just fooling yourself.
Right. Well, yeah.
In my opinion, you just really are. You're just allowing yourself, because you probably don't go to these other parks anyway, and you just hear a couple of stories and you still cling to them. Like, wow, they're dirty, they're unsafe, they're costume characters, they hit the kids, you know, and you're just playing off that shit. And you're not really going yourself and trying it out. Because you know what? The kids' eyes are going to light up when they meet Snoopy at the Cedar Point as well. They really are. And you don't even have to wait in a long line and go through all the whole rigmarole to see Snoopy.
You know, that's if you're into parks and rides or bigger thrill rides, you know, you like them or you can handle them. But I understand, you know, there are a lot of people that like to go to Disney because it's not so thrilling, because they have more atmosphere and all this other stuff. But at the same time, those people are getting priced out too, because if those are really the only theme parks that they can go to because they're tamer, then they're getting screwed too. They don't even have an alternative place to go.
Yeah, I guess not. Or at least when you go to one of the other regionals, it's like you just have like the one dark ride instead of having like the 10 dark rides that like Magic Kingdom has. And then it's like, all right, I'm only going to get like 1 or 2 rides.
So they're screwing everybody on this.
Oh, they really are. There may be some things you can get only at Disney or a certain level of experience, but it's like not that much better.
Right. It's not twice as better.
It's not
as a regional.
No, it's not like it's so much better. It's not like you never see a discarded cup or something on the ground. It's not like you know. I mean, come on. Let's be real here. I mean, up until the last time we went at a Disney park, which I guess was Land a few years ago, it's very good, but it's like rides still break down. You know, we had to walk out of Space Mountain, I think twice before. There was like the third time was a charm. We finally got on it. One time we waited like the whole thing, almost the whole queue. We waited the fast pass queue, and then they hold you outside. Then we walked in, and we went to the station, and it was just like, "Sorry guys, gotta go," and we had to walk to the exit. Remember that?
Yeah,
That's
I do.
Bullshit.
I remember
That's like
that.
Six Flags League. You know, there was nothing spectacular about that. We weren't even given a pass to cut the line later or anything. Whatever. We didn't.
Yeah, that. I mean, the food isn't spectacular.
Oh, the average food, at least. Yeah, if you want to pay, in addition to the premium price to get in, now you got to pay premium restaurant prices if you want to get the really good food.
Right. For better than average theme park food, but still not great food.
So you can't even count that because that's not, you know, that's the thing too. You get your argument about the premium price. So it's 100% more just to get in. Okay. And then it's like, there are some additional premium experiences that you can only get at Disney that you, even if you want to, you couldn't get at like Cedar Point, like the 4-star quality restaurants in Epcot, let's say, or being able to like get a personal VIP tour, like a VIP guide that follows you around for like half the day and shows you things and like takes you in Club 33 and different things, and you get to see all these things. But those aren't included in that where it's already 100% more. That's another fee on top. So if you want that 4-star meal, you're going to pay a 4-star meal price.
Oh, definitely.
You know,
yes, you are.
To get that in Epcot or whatever, to leave the park for, if you're in Magic Kingdom, there's a couple of restaurants, but they're not, I don't think they're 4-star. You could go to one of the ones of the hotels that are around the lagoon. Same goes for, if you go during a holiday, you get spectacular decorations, like unparalleled in any park. Well, again, you're buying into that too. Beyond your regular day at the park, if you want to stay for the Christmas event, you're paying additional for that. If you want to see the Halloween decorations, you're paying additional for that.
And of course, there's the whole, with World at least, you know, the whole Fast Pass issue and My Magic Plus and all that stuff. You could throw on top of that as well. If you don't like having your entire vacation planned out ahead of time.
Well, that's just annoying.
So that's what I'm saying. So
the bottom line is,
like, you're paying, you know, a ton more money, and then you still have to, and then you're forced into doing your vacation a certain way, even though you don't really want to do it that way. You want to be more spontaneous, but you can't, because that's just not the way that place functions anymore.
Like a recent thing, yeah, and that sucks too. I don't disagree with the fact that Disney should cost something more than the regional parks, but not 100% more.
I mean, Universal's like doing the same thing. Yeah, it's not like they're really any cheaper. Universal Orlando is $105, one park, one day.
They're up to $105.
Universal Hollywood is... So Universal Hollywood, the prices range from $75 to $90, depending on the day you go.
Universal and Disney are like going way up, and then everybody else is like almost having to get cheaper. I think they keep adding more discounts sometimes, it seems, every year.
Yeah, regionals have always been a big part of our park going experience, but they've played an even bigger role in the last bunch of years, the last, you know, maybe 5 or so years.
Yeah, well, for me, it was a coming full circle. It's where I started. It's what I cut my teeth on and became an enthusiast with, and And I really had that attitude of, you know, I went to Disney with my family once in the 90s, and then I just had that attitude of like, that's for kids, that's for babies. It was really Universal and with Opening of Mountains Adventure that got me interested in going back to Florida. Disneyland is what sort of made me fall back, or maybe not even fall back in love, maybe fall in love with Disney in the first place, was
okay.
Disneyland, because that was kind of a special experience, going there for the first time. But yeah, what they've not adding things to those parks and doing things that I feel kind of pushes enthusiasts out. And now all the price increases that have gone on in the last decade, it's gotten to a point now where I just don't even want to go. And I was happy to kind of go back to my roots and rediscover the regionals in a new way and in a fresh way, and get back to them. And then like now I come back around and I really enjoy the regionals again.
Yeah, the regionals have really stepped up to, they're extra special to me these days. And Disney and Universal, they're just getting harder to like. Thanks for writing. Now enjoy your day.